recently I saw on social media that there was a show that's been deemed recently to be the worst show to ever be made or something along those lines. It's the Scooby-Doo reboot, the one called Velma. I think it's an HBO show, but I'm not really sure. I just know that it's gotten a lot of hate. I know that it's gotten a lot of inappropriate material that's gone through it. But there was something that caught my eye in the posts that I saw. The character Fred, as they remade him in the show, emphasizes the fact that he's had everything done for him as he's grown up. He's sort of like the spoiled rich kid who can't mature fully so he can be a functional adult. And what I saw of the show, I haven't watched any of it, and I'm not vouching for it, and I don't recommend you go watch it yourself. But from what I saw, Fred is so inept when it comes to functioning, he can't even cut up food for himself when he's eating. Well, this is obviously a very ridiculous and absurd commentary when it comes to children who aren't able to function for themselves. It's based on a tiny kernel of truth that sometimes we can do too much for our children, and if we do too much for them, then it prevents them from being able to learn and grow and mature so they can be functioning adults. There's a balance between doing stuff for your children in order to help them and letting them figure things out themselves or guiding them to make wise decisions. And there's no place where I think this is more important than personal finance. Raising children that can be financially independent and financially healthy in their adult lives is very important, not only for their financial futures, but for yours as well, in the relationship that you will be maintaining with your child. Because this is something that's really important to me, I wanted to share with you, if it's something that is also important to you, what I plan on doing with Oliver as he grows up so he can be the best version of himself when it comes to managing personal finance. The plan I have for him, I call 401 Kid. 401 Kid is inspired by 401k just because the method that I want to use to help Oliver build good savings muscles is to match his savings effort in order to incentivize him to save for things that I think are wise. I'm not going to be providing a match for him for things that I don't think are as important for him to be saving for. Let's say in his teen years, he wants to save up for a car. He may only be 1 year old now, but I want to make sure that I approach this when the time comes with intentionality and purpose. He wants to save for a car, hypothetically speaking. Cars are relatively expensive, and it's important that he has something that's reliable, and I think that saving for a car is going to teach him to save up for a big purchase, especially automobiles, as opposed to going into debt or seeking an auto loan. Because I support the idea of saving for a car, I will offer him a match, up to a limit, that I will then apply toward that purchase of the car. Say he saved $5,000, I would put $5,000 down, and he could go buy a $10,000 car. But I need to put a limit on it. Let's say he got massively ambitious and managed to get a rather impressive job and racked up in his teen years 40 grand that he wanted to put towards a car. There's no way in my personal budget, at least the way that I know it now, that I could put 40 grand to match. And I absolutely see no reason why a teenager's first car needs to be an $80,000 behemoth of a machine. That's just overkill. And I don't think it teaches the economical element of frugality. I think by putting a limit on it, it also restricts as to how far I'm willing to help, because I think that instead of buying the car with all the bells and whistles and all the wants, it's going to be better for him to stop saving for that car at some point and start directing his savings goals to something else, taking into account opportunity cost that is inherent to his financial future. Namely, I would like him to seek higher education in some way that could lead him down a path for a career that he wants. This could be trade school, it could be a 4-year degree, it could be a master's degree, it could be a PhD. Either way, I want to be helping him with that. That's something that he could be saving for even earlier. As soon as he gets the notion of saving and I want to start helping him build savings muscles, I can introduce him to this 401 Kid program and say, if you save $1, Daddy will save $1. Mommy and Daddy will take that dollar and we're going to go invest it for you. We'll have an educational savings account for Oliver where if he puts money toward it and he says, I want to save this for college or I want to save this for school, well, then we can put $1 toward it and that money can then grow. In this way, in this exercise of 401 Kid, we can not only teach him how to build savings muscles, but teach him about investing and the time value of money, getting him exposed to that from an early age and discussing money in a way that helps it become just a natural part of his thought process as he figures out how to be a functioning adult. Money, on the whole, is a relatively taboo topic. I know that among my friends, it's not something that naturally comes up as a conversation point. It's not water cooler talk. However, discussing finances, discussing personal finance with children is one of the greatest indicators that they're going to be financially successful and financially independent in their future. So it's important to have these discussions with our children and provide them with the natural context where these discussions can grow and help teach them how to manage money in a successful manner. I don't know exactly what my limits are going to be when it comes to helping him save for a car, and I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be when it comes to saving for his future education. I'm probably, for the education part, going to look at what the contribution limits are on an educational savings account and say that my match, our match that Amanda and I put forward, could be equal to 50% of that limit. So he puts forward half of it, we put forward the other half, and he can max out the contributions for educational savings for the future. There's one more thing I should bring up on this topic that's really interesting. The Secured Act 2.0 was recently passed in the last year, and in the Secured Act, there is now law in there that says that you can take an unused 529 and roll it over into a Roth retirement account after the child, the beneficiary, is done going to school and has unused funds. This means that if you have someone that you save for, a child that you save for, and they don't use all the money, say they just didn't go to school, or they had a large number of scholarships, and because they had so much scholarship money, they didn't need to use all the 529 money. Well, now the money that you saved toward college, be it an ESA, which can be rolled over into a 529 or a 529 straight up, that money can now go toward retirement for your child in a Roth account. It can be rolled over into a very powerful way to set them up for a healthy and stable financial future way down the road. You're going to know that they can retire with dignity if you have enough money in there that doesn't get spent on education and gets rolled right into that retirement. That's something that I really, really wish was available when I was of college age, but it's something that I'm incredibly grateful exists now for the sake of my son. I hope my plan is one that can help inspire you as you pursue your child's hope-filled financial future.